Mukhwana to give us the official remarks.
Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, brother Skanda, my father Thomas, you are my father. As my father was called Thomas Mukhwana, so you are my father. From the GIZ and the German Embassy, I recognize the presence of the proper EPZ and many other government agencies. I see my State Department for Industry here, Ministry of Investments, Trade and Industry, Kenya Intellectual Industrial Property Institute, Kenya National Accreditation Service, and all exhibitors. Good morning. Hamjambo. I want to say that I'm quite happy to be here today in this space because this is where I belong. If I look back as a young person growing up in Kenya, cotton and textile was part of our life. So what we are doing today, we are simply reenacting some of the things that we've done in the past. Those of you who are old enough like me know that the textile sector was one of the strongest in the 70s, coming into the 80s. I grew up on a farm in Western Kenya where we grew cotton. We had ginneries almost in every village. You do know that we had textile factories, Kikomi in Kisumu, we had in Eldoret, Raymond's, Rivertex, Kenit, Mountex in Nanyuki, and we actually had a Kenyan brand of clothes called Deacons that had shops across the country. So those who are old enough know that we had clothes from Deacons, but then things started going wrong around 1990, partly because of liberalization, where then we broke up the chain of supply and demand. Of course, more increasingly, we have also seen the issue of used clothes. So we are actually doing what we have done before. This government, which has now been in power for 8 months, has prioritized the 2 areas. So textile, very, very important for us. Leather, very, very important. That's why I'm here. I know today is a holiday. Again, also let me take that opportunity to tell our Muslim brothers, Eid Mubarak. We are working backwards and looking at what we can do. In spite of the very small efforts that we are putting today, we have nearly 30 textile factories in our EPZ in Athi River. And then we have another 7 or 10 outside the EPZ. We have Rivertex. Rivertex, over the last 5 years, the government of Kenya has invested nearly 7 billion Kenya shillings in Rivertex. So in Rivertex today, you have the biggest, most modern factory in East and Central Africa, very competitive, even across Africa. So we have a very, and the challenge that we have had is the backward linkages to cotton production. This year, we have been working with farmers. We have identified 24 counties in Kenya that are able to grow cotton. A week ago, I was out in Homa Bay, and in Homa Bay alone, we are growing nearly 5,000 acres of cotton, both BT cotton and open pollinated. We are also promoting cotton in Busia, in Mugoma, in Siaya, in Migori, in Elgeyo Marakwet, Baringo, Kwale, Kilifi, Lamu. Lamu is giving us the best yield, especially for BT cotton, where we are getting 1,000 300 kilograms per acre. So this year we are looking at nearly 70,000 tons of seed that has gone out to support cotton production. And the President has directed that we need to work. We have established the Kenya Textile Working Group to look at all the issues within the value chain. So from seed production, inputs, credit to farmers, chemicals, and also ginny. The government has already built a ginnery at Muruanda in Busia. This financial year, we'll be doing 2 more ginneries. There's one ginnery that will come up in Malakisi, and there's a ginnery coming up in Lamu, being built by the private sector. So you can see that the interest is here. We are happy with those of us who have kept this industry going. The government has not given it a lot of attention, but starting this year, I can see a lot of attention. So with the National Working Group on textile, we are looking at all the issues of the value chain, and we are hoping that we can grow that value chain. We are aware that we have the AGOA agreement, the duty-free, quota-free export to the US. We have not taken good advantage of that because a lot of the fabric that we are using is not made in Kenya. The directive I have is that within 3 years, all this fabric must come from Kenya. So that's why we are working with farmers so that they grow cotton. In the next 2 weeks, we are also going to be advertising for an international tender for somebody that would like to invest in synthetic fibers, polyester, acrylic, nylon, and others, so that these factories can take advantage. So we'll be looking for an accredited supplier of some of these materials so that the country can take in more value from this value chain. Looking at leather, leather is a sleeping giant in this country. We are slaughtering nearly 3 million livestock every year. A lot of the leather goes to waste. The government has tried to establish tanneries and slaughterhouses, including export slaughterhouses that we have in Isiolo, in Marsabit, in collaboration with the World Bank. We have an export slaughterhouse in Wajir, in Mandera, and also in West Pokot. The only one that is working is the one in Narok. And what we are going to do now is to partner, actually to try and give away some of those tanneries to the private sector so that they can drive it. And that's, so we are going to be advertising so that you can take up some of these, not just for meat exports, but also to look at the issues of tanning and the quality of the leather, because we need a lot of awareness, and we are also in the process with support from ILO in establishing the Kenya Leather Working Group, so that we can also look at the issues that affect the various aspects of the value chain. In terms of markets, we are working very hard to open up international markets, but these markets cannot work without your support. Yesterday I was at the IDH function where I said that the effort that we are putting in as government is like a situation where you have closed the factory, but the marketing department is continuing to sell the product. So you have nothing to sell. So we are opening up huge markets, but we need capacity here for us to produce. For example, as Thomas was saying, a week ago, politically we concluded the EPA with the EU, potentially giving us 27 countries in Europe where you can export almost anything, quota-free, duty-free. But the question is, do we have the products? The honest answer is we will need to develop those products, because that market is huge. We are also at the tail end of concluding the STIP, Strategic Partnership Agreement, for Kenya and the US, which will open up a lot of space, again in the textiles, leather, pharmaceuticals. You already know that Moderna is doing a factory here at Tatu City, and we are working to bring many more. But what we are seeing is that we are working so hard to open the market, but we don't have the potential to supply. So as investors, I've been talking to some of you, you have 6 employees, some have 30, some have 20. This is really an opportunity to grow to the next level. We are also at a very, very advanced stage with the Kenya-UK agreement. So again, that will open up a lot of market. But then on the African scene, we already have the ESC market, the East African market, that gives you very good duty-free entry into a lot of 7 countries with a population of 380 million, including the DRC, Congo, Burundi, Rwanda, South Sudan, Uganda, and Tanzania, and the African Continental Free Trade Area that is even growing bigger. Already we are exporting some tea now to Nigeria, to Ghana, and so it's opening up, and we want you to take advantage for Africa to trade with Africa. This is very, very important because as Africans, we have not done very well in that space. So mine is to thank you for the confidence that you have shown. I've seen companies here from Ethiopia, I've seen companies from India, from other jurisdictions. This is a vote of confidence. You have the support of the government of Kenya. The 2 value chains are very, very important for us. We have prioritized them as government areas of intervention, and we really welcome your ideas. As we build the leather value chain, I think I've indicated we already have support from ILO. I think the textile value chain, Thomas, now that you are here, you are on the radar, so that we can see exactly, and you're already in this space. Not just, I know you have supported a lot of exhibitions here, but we want a very systematic approach so that we have from the supply chain, from cotton production, from seed, chemicals, ginning, the whole value chain, even the spin-offs of cotton seed cake as animal feed, for oil production. So I would like to invite you again to also join our textile working group, where we identify, one, to be very systematic so that we are able to invest in such a manner that we create a sustainable textile production system in the country. And I will be talking to you. As I said, you have read my father, so what I've said now is a directive. So I've seen many of you exhibiting here. I have looked at your products. This is top-notch. This is world-class. We want to help you to climb to the next ladder. In the next 3 years, I will be the happiest man in this room if each one of us can grow our turnover, our employment by 3, 4, 5 times through the initiatives that we are having. So please tap into this. We are going to invite you. I think it will be good to say that we need almost a Kenyan conversation with all of you on how we can improve the textile. Because as government, we have very many ideas, but you are the people who are wearing the shoes. So as I've said again, I will talk to my friends. I think we need to really retreat, present the framework that we are developing, the activities that we want to implement, the quick wins, the ones that we need in the medium term and in the long term, so that we can have a solid revitalization of the textile and leather sectors within the country. So I've seen a lot of you here. I want to hear from you what is it that we can do so that we can take you to the next level. So my word to you is we will grow together. We are here to support you. Sometimes we may not know how to do it. That's why we need a conversation. So maybe before the end of the year, we'll try and put together a stakeholder conference for textile. We can also do something separate for the leather so that we are able to focus as a country to say this is what the government is thinking, but you are the people that are in that space. What is it that we can do to accelerate growth, to create more value, to create more jobs, to create more products, to export more from those 2 areas that we are working on. The last issue I want to talk about is that we are also prioritizing as government county aggregation and industrial parks. This financial year, the government of Kenya, through the State Department for Industry, has invested 4.7 billion shillings to construct phase 1 of county industrial parks. And we are partnering with the county government. What we are doing, the county government provides the land. They provide half of the money, which is 250 million. national government has budgeted 250 million. We have already advertised construction in 14 counties, and we are also doing a feasibility study to identify each of the 47 counties, what are the priority value chains. And I know that cotton, leather, if you look at the northern area, leather is a big value chain for most of the arid and semi-arid areas. We are constructing 5 to 7 manufacturing sheds in each county. We are already discussing with the African Development Bank and also discussing with the KCB and Equity Bank for them to equip those sheds with machinery. So going forward, if you come from Nyeri, you'll find a shed with 5 to 7 factories. You can do tea, you can do macadamia, you can do avocado. And the way we want to do it is that each factory will be equipped with technicians. So if you have the raw material of macadamia and you want to make your brand, you bring your raw material, you certify that the quality is good, you produce your macadamia, you pack it, and you leave. And the next person will come and do his. So you just book, you use the factory. If you're doing tea, if you're doing milk, this is what we want to do to bring more people into that space. If you're doing milling of maize, you bring your 200 bags, you mill, you brand, you pack, you go, another person comes. So this is the way we are working. We are hoping that by the end of this financial year, we will have constructed and equipped 18 county industrial parks. And then in the next financial year, we'll be looking at another 18. And some of you who may find some of these machineries to be very expensive, you will then be, so we are using the leased equipment. The equipment will be leased to you for a period for you to produce, you pay, you go with your products, and somebody else will also produce. So this is what we are working on, and we really invite you. We will be having county-specific dialogue for each county to look at the value chains that are being prioritized for Kiambu, for Murang'a, for Mombasa, and so on. So with those many remarks, let me say again that let me thank our colleagues that have put all this together. GIZ have always been very supportive. Our friends, Trade and Fairs Group from Germany, the proper EPZ, and all of you who have come to exhibit, know that you have our support, you have our ear. We are willing to support you, and we thank you for participating in this process, for the confidence that you have that through this forum you can grow your business, you can network with other businesses, and make a difference in Kenya, create prosperity for yourself, for your family, and for your country. With those many remarks, I want to declare the East African Textile and Leather Week officially open. Thank you.